The Prime Minister was saying. Well, joining me on the line is Philippe Mignonnet, who is Deputy Mayor of Calais, who is in charge of security and immigration there. Thank you very much for joining us here on the BBC. First of all, what do you make of what David Cameron is saying there?
Good afternoon. Well, I'm happy to really hear what Mr. Cameron said, because I've not heard before. When he says that the border is in Calais, it's a proof that we are in Calais doing the job. Controlling the English border. More than that, I think David Cameron, one day or another, would have to come over to really face the reality. It's easy to say from London that he wants to keep everything in Calais. It's the time more than ever to have a real cooperation between Calais and the English government. We've been disregarded for too long now. What I would say is that if Mr. Cameron doesn't want to understand the problems we face here, probably I wonder whether I should not do a campaign against England to remain in Europe from here through the English media, which is not so complicated for us. So we've got all the arguments. We have a situation where everybody knows that there is what is called the jungle in Calais. We all know they are in Calais. All the migrants, all refugees are in Calais because they want to go to England. One day or another, we must, it's not that we should, but we must work it together and find solutions. Mr. Cameron can't ask everything to Europe. He can't promise a referendum to ask the people of England whether they stay or not in England, in Europe, sorry. But he can't get the subventions on one hand and leaving the other part of Europe in the other hand, dealing with all the problems. So he's got to face the reality. We can meet either here in Calais or in London, Mr. Cameron, at any time he wants. It's not the first time we've asked for it. So David Cameron, let's work it together, and I'm quite sure I can give him a hand for the referendum. If not, I will do the reverse.
Well, so what are you saying then? If Britain votes to leave Europe, the responsibility, would you want to relinquish the responsibility for the camps?
Well, it will be easy for us. You know, the 2K agreements are between two European countries, one being in the Schengen space and the other one is not. But between two European countries, if England votes to leave Europe, it's not between two European countries. So the 2K agreements will have to be cancelled and the border transferred back to UK. It's too easy to say we stay in Europe because we want subventions, and if we leave Europe, we still keep everything that was agreed in the past. No, if you leave Europe, you leave Europe. And the borders have got to be transferred back to your country, Mr. Cameron.
Well, except that this agreement, it's a bilateral agreement. It's nothing to do with UK being part of Europe. It's separate. It's a bilateral agreement between Britain and France, one which you've been keeping going as well as the British.
We've had these agreements, and all the time it was done, it was working well. The situation has changed, and we can renegotiate, or more than renegotiate. We can, and we should have, we will have to cancel these agreements because England won't be in Europe anymore. So that will really be a foreign country for us. So it is time for David Cameron to understand our both benefits. If he wants to stay in Europe, he's got to work with us locally, the situation of Calais. And not saying we keep the border, the English border in Calais, and we blame Calais because some migrants are waiting to come to England. So we've got to work it together. If not, then I will probably do a campaign through the media for England to vote the leave of Europe.
And on the ground, though, if Britain does leave, what will that mean for the border? So if Britain leaves and the treaty is null and void, so it's not there anymore, what will happen at the border? Will you just let people go through to the UK?
We will let them go through. As simple as that. And the border forces will have to deal with it in England.
The border forces on the UK side, on UK soil?
On the UK side, yeah, exactly.
Just give me a sense, just very briefly, as a final question. What sense do you get from the other deputy mayors and mayors, particularly in the north of France? How do they feel about this?
Well, most of my colleagues in Calais, deputies or even the mayor, would be happy, first of all, to have a real cooperation between the city of Calais and the English government, where it has never been the case in the past. And most of the people, I would say not only the elected persons, but also the people in general in the northern France, would be happy that border to disappear, because they know that all the refugees or migrants who are there only want to go to England. Calais is not the destination. Northern France is not the destination. England is the destination. So we must agree on that it's not because we do this and that, because the French government does this or that in Calais, facilities, kind of facilities or whatsoever, that they come to Calais. No, they come to Calais because we are in front of England and it is the shortest point. This is where they've got the maximum chances to try to go onto a vehicle to get to England.
Philippe Mignonnet, the Deputy Mayor of Calais, thank you very much for talking.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.